Today, we're taking an analytical look at Sanhua Intelligent Controls. Now, this is a global leader in thermal management that finds itself at a pivotal strategic crossroads. Its current position is really being defined by three critical and often conflicting forces: a strengthening core business, a decelerating growth engine, and a very high-stakes bet on the future of robotics.
So, to really get a handle on Sanhua today, you have to unpack three interlocking dynamics. First, a significant inflection point in profitability, which is being driven by its legacy operations. Second, a notable deceleration in its automotive segment, which, for a long time, has been the primary growth driver. And third, the market's intense focus on the company's new robotics venture. These three elements really form the core of our analysis.
So, let's begin with the company's foundation, its core business. What we see here is really a tale of two diverging engines. The performance of its primary segments is moving in opposite directions, and that's creating a complex but very revealing picture of the company's internal health.
On one side, you have the refrigeration and air conditioning parts business. This is Sanhua's foundational, high-margin segment, and it's experiencing a powerful resurgence. On the other side, there's the automotive parts business. Now, this has been the main growth driver for years, but it's now facing some pretty significant headwinds.
This chart really quantifies that divergence. In the first half of 2025, the refrigeration and AC business posted revenue growth of 25.5%. In stark contrast, the automotive segment expanded by only 8.8%. But the critical insight here isn't just about top-line growth. Because the refrigeration business carries higher margins, its acceleration is having an outsized, positive impact on the company's overall profitability.
The bottom line result of this mix shift is pretty profound. While revenue grew by a healthy 18.9%, net profit surged by over 39%. This is the profit inflection point we're talking about. When you see profit growth more than doubling revenue growth, that's a clear indicator that the sales mix shifting towards higher margin products is fundamentally improving the company's financial health.
So what's driving this high margin resurgence? Well, a key external catalyst is coming from the European Union. New F-gas regulations are forcing a market shift towards more advanced, higher-value heat pump components. This effectively raises the technical barriers for competitors and presents a significant structural growth opportunity for a technology leader like Sanhua.
Okay, so with this strong core performance, how does the market view the company relative to its peers? As this table shows, Sanhua trades at a notable premium to established international competitors like Valeo, Denso, and BorgWarner. This raises a critical question: what is the market pricing in to justify this premium?
The answer to that question is largely attributable to the market's focus on the company's third act, a strategic and ambitious move into robotics. This really represents the high-risk, high-reward component of the Sanhua story.
The specific technology at the heart of this venture is the electromechanical actuator. To put it simply, this is the component that functions as a robot's joint or its muscle. It's the critical piece of hardware that allows for precise, controlled movement by converting electrical signals into physical motion.
Now, the potential scale of this opportunity is immense. Projections estimate that by the time mass production could begin, say around 2026 or 2027, the total addressable market for humanoid robot actuators alone could exceed 10 billion RMB. And that explains why this very new venture is capturing so much market attention.
But it's very important to ground this in reality. The company is currently in the early sample delivery phase. This is not yet a commercial product. However, the commitment is significant. Sanhua has announced plans to invest at least 5 billion RMB to build out the industrial capacity for this venture. It's a very real, substantial bet on the future.
However, this narrative of opportunity must be balanced against a clear-eyed assessment of the risks. So let's examine the external variables and internal challenges that could disrupt the company's trajectory.
A primary risk lies right in the automotive segment. Approximately 30% of that segment's revenue comes from a single major client, Tesla. Now, this level of customer concentration means that any performance issues or strategic shifts from that one client can have a direct and significant impact on Sanhua's automotive business.
Another key operational risk is input cost. Copper and aluminum account for about half of the company's material costs. As this data shows, just a 10% increase in the price of these commodities can directly reduce the company's gross margin by approximately 2 percentage points. This shows a direct sensitivity to global commodity markets.
Geopolitical risk is also a factor, particularly the potential for increased U.S. tariffs. However, Sanhua has been proactive here. The company's established global manufacturing footprint, with facilities in Mexico, Poland, and Vietnam, provides a strategic hedge, allowing it to serve key markets locally and mitigate some of this tariff risk.
Beyond these external factors lies perhaps the largest internal uncertainty: execution risk. For a company entering a completely new, high-tech field, the challenge of developing and commercializing a product like a robotic actuator is truly monumental.
So let's synthesize these different points. When we bring together the diverging core businesses, the future potential, and the tangible risks, we get a complete picture of the company's dynamic strategic position.
What this brings us to is a company in a state of dynamic balance. The core refrigeration business is performing strongly, providing a crucial buffer of profitability. At the same time, the automotive segment's slowdown presents a material headwind. And finally, the robotics venture represents a high-risk, high-reward option on the future, one the market appears to be pricing for significant success.
This leaves us with a final, central, strategic question. Can the company successfully commercialize its ambitious bet on robotics before the challenges in its automotive growth engine fundamentally alter its business trajectory? The answer to that question will ultimately define the next chapter for Sanhua Intelligent Controls.